Hello guys, this is CS from DWP, and welcome to Warframe Wiki Wednesday, where once a week we cover a particular topic, whether it be hot button topic or something I've been asked before, or pretty much just anything I think would be of use. And today I wanted to make sure I cover Specters. I'm sure plenty of people might be wondering why I'm not covering maybe Deadlock Protocol or Protea or some of the new weapons. The main reason why is because there's a plethora of that information already available out there, so I didn't want to kind of add to the smorgasbord of information that is available. So without further ado, let's get into the Specters. If you do enjoy these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll check you guys out every week. So Specters. First things first, let's go to the general information about the Specters. You can pick these up from particular missions. They drop from different locations. Pretty much a Specter is an AI-controlled ally unit that will fight alongside a player for the duration of the mission. They have their own set of weapons and or abilities that they can use against enemies, and are generally summoned via a consumable gear item. Let me go ahead and reset this. Okay, well I guess it's not going to take them away, but that's fine. So anyway, Warframe Specters can act as allies or enemies depending on the circumstances. As allies, Specters are AI-controlled Warframe replicants, employing customizable loadouts which are configured via the Foundry. They can be summoned via consumable gear wheel items in all missions except Archwing and Sanctuary Onslaught. Archwing because, well, it's Archwing, it won't land anywhere. And then Sanctuary Onslaught because you can't use gear items, right? So enemy Specters are primarily encountered as guardians of the original system, of the origin system's Solar Rails Junction. Sorry about that. So they used to be a thing back when Solar Rails was here. It must be defeated to unlock connections to new planets and destinations on the star chart. Spectre-like enemy warframes also serve as enemies during specific quests, such as Deadlock Protocol, where you have to actually defeat Protea herself, right? So Warframe Specters were also used to guard a clan's Solar Rail. I don't want to get too far. I hope they don't talk about it too much because Solar Rails isn't here and I don't think it's ever coming back. But you could use them during Solar Rails, during the conflicts, before the game mode was discontinued. Contesting clans would have to face these Spectre regiments in order to seize control of the territory. A Spectre regiment was to be created through researching it from the clan's dojo. Basically, if you go to I call it the Solar Rails room. If you go in there's all these Specters that you can get. You used to have to use those, but we can't do it. So anyway, however, the entire clan conflict mechanic and its associated regiments were eventually removed from the game. Anyway, the blueprints of the Warframe Specters can be acquired by completing rescue missions, okay? With the type of blueprint awarded depending on the node that was played and how many points were acquired. In total, 3 points Sorry about that. In total, 3 points can process, and 1 for killing all of the wardens, I guess. Right? I'm assuming that the warden will be the person on the inside, anybody protecting the spot where the people are that you need to rescue. But I think a bigger thing here is what's the difference between, and this is for Warframe ones, right? So you have a Vapor, you have a Phase, you have a Force, right? And there's actually a fourth one, which is Cosmic. I have them, I just don't have it made. What are the differences between those four? Really, the only difference is the level that they spawn, right? So Vapor spawn at the enemy level, Phase spawns at the enemy level +3, Force is +5, and Cosmic is +10. That's literally the only difference. Other than that, they're all the exact same, basically. Long story short. So for the Vapor Spectre, or they call it a Bronze Spectre, which is that one, basically rank 1. It's rewarded from the easy to medium difficulty rescue missions, and it gives you 10 per build. Phase is you can get that from easy, medium, and hard, and that gives you 5. Force is from medium, hard, and nightmare, and that gives you 3, and then Cosmic only gives you 1, and it's only from hard and nightmare, basically, right? As far as Syndicate Specters, you'll see these a lot too. This is things such as like the Ancient Healer, the Charger, Corrupted Lancer, Moas, Rollers, Shield Osprey. Those come from like this guy right here. This is from a Syndicate. So They, you know how you're in a mission and all of a sudden like a syndicate pops up and they're like, oh my god, you know, we hate you, we want you to blah 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 blah, we're gonna beat you up or whatever. Well, when you kill that group of enemies, it has a very high likelihood, if not every time, to give you an actual blueprint to make specters out of what just attacked you, right? Except for parasites, they actually turn out to be charters. I don't want to get into what they do specifically because there's a ton of information on that. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and just get into it. So, the Shockwave Moa, right? It's a friendly specter-like Shockwave Moa that can be manually spawned from hackable cabinets located throughout the certain corpus tile sets. That is considered a specter. On a corpus tile set, what you'll see is you'll see this thing on the wall, and if you walk up to it, it's kind of, I kind of want to go into a mission and show you, but I don't want to spend too much time. But there's this thing that's sticking out the wall, and if you walk up to it, it literally looks like a vertical pillar, kind of like this, I guess. And you walk up and you hit square, you hack it, and then a Shockwave Moa comes out. Then you have the Clem clone, right? So the Clem clone is literally Clem, who is right here. That is Clem. He's really short. He's adorable and the whole shebang, and he comes packed with twin Gurkatas, and those things are insanely strong. So the reward for the final mission of A Man with Few Words quest is a Clem clone blueprint, which works in the same way as Specters, deploying a clone of Clem to fight. The blueprint is a one-time use item and produces 5 clones, right? So you can use up to 5. I have quite a few, but you can use up to 5. Where's Clem? You can use up to 5 Clems, right? So you throw one out. Like, let's say I have a Clem out, right? Well, I guess that's not going to matter. Anyway, you have 5 times you can use them. If you dump all 5 in one mission, you have to go back and make 5 more. Long story short. So if it dies, that still consumes 1. That's basically what they're saying here. Additional blueprints can be acquired. These are introduced as a Barracuteer exclusive Spectre, available for 100 ducats and 50,000 credits between, you know, it was back on 2007 on PC. Anyway, the blueprint is a one-time use, providing 5 Specters, and includes a corrupted Bombard Spectre and an accompanying Orkin drone. As you can see, this big guy comes with that guy right there. Just to give you a heads up. And the drone does not and cannot obtain shields, and the limited 200 shield it gives to the Spectre will not recharge once depleted, unless the drone is killed and respawns, doing so in 30 seconds of being destroyed, basically. Right, so that's the corrupted Bombard, corrupted Heavy Gunner, which I do not have right now because I didn't make any, but the corrupted Heavy Gunner, same thing with the Barracuteer. This one also comes with a drone. Yeah, I'm not going to cover the rest of them. There's way too many of them. There's way too many of those guys. Anyway, let's go to aggression and pathing. That way you kind of understand like how they work, right? So as you can see, they'll just follow you. So all Specters who don't have the bodyguard AI type will only follow the player if they do not detect any enemies. If they detect an enemy nearby, they will do the following, right? Corrupted Lancers will sprint for cover and stay in that cover until enemies get near or until the... You know what? Let's just spawn a bunch of enemies and see what they do. I think that might help out a little bit. So let's make these, I don't know, level 10, I guess. Right, so we're going to let these guys figure out what they want to do, and then we'll take it from there. So what we have is we have a Lancer, we got Clem, and we got my Rhino, right? And then we got this shield thingy here. Let's see if we can spawn them out here. So let's get Clem. Alright, let's get Rhino. Rhino wants to come down here. There we go. We got Rhino. Damn, Clem. Oh yeah, they're level 3. Let's change that to level 3. Or level 1, I guess. Let's do level 1, because there's 20 of them. And let's pull out some normal people, I guess. We'll do 20 of you guys, because it's only 4 of them. Boom. Alright, so we got a Rhino down there. Let's get a Flame out here. And then let's get the Bombard. Right. And then let's get the Lancer. Alright, so all you guys stay there. Let's up the level a little bit. So 3, boom. Let's see what happens. Yep, sure enough, he runs for cover. Clem charges in. Rhino is a bodyguard, so he's always going to be next to me. The Bombard is just a Bombard. Dude, did they literally wreck? Wow, they wrecked him. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, so as you can see, each one is going to have their own AI type. As I said, it's just a bodyguard that's going to stay next to you. Charger Specters have a slightly smaller detection range and aggression towards enemies, but never attempt to follow the player if an enemy nearby and its weak attacks often misses enemies who walk backwards to avoid its attacks. Ancient Healer Specters will slowly walk towards enemies until they are in range and then charge as a normal healer would. Clem will stay close to the player most of the time and sometimes stop to engage an enemy for a while. Shield Ospreys have both the bodyguard AI and the normal AI type. They will attempt to stay close to other deployed Specters, defensive objectives, or other high-value allies, even if they detect enemies. If there are no high-value allies nearby, players don't count. It will simply drift into the enemies instead, which is a weird thing to do. Tenno Specters behavior. So, this one I'm for sure not gonna read all of them. Just know that each Warframe has its own set of things that it's gonna do, particularly its abilities. When it comes to the abilities, I'm gonna politely ask that you check out the wiki on Specters, hit Tenno, and then go down, because there's like 43 Warframes, and there's a certain set of circumstances that will trigger each Warframe's ability. Every Warframe does cast all 4 of its abilities, but once again, it's under certain circumstances. I'm just going to use Mesa as an example. She will cast Ballistic Battery when an enemy is in line of sight. Her cooldown for that is 45 seconds. She will cast Shooting Gallery when an enemy is within 10 meters. Cooldown is 90 seconds. She does not cast Shadow Shield for whatever reason, which completely did away with what I said before. But anyway, she'll cast Peacemaker when the enemy is in line of sight, and she'll fire for 10 seconds. She has a cooldown of 45 seconds, which begins upon starting Peacemaker, not upon ending it. So they have a list of things that each one would do, one after another. And if you're wondering how all these Specters are here, this is because you can have up to 4 Specters at a time. Just keep in mind, you cannot recast the same Spectre over and over again. And if you're wondering, can you have 4 or 5 of the Vapors and Specters and things like that, you cannot. Whoops, what am I doing there? So I'm going to throw a Vapor down. Rhino's going to disappear, right? Then I'm going to come throw a Phase down. And Rhino's going to disappear again. And now he has an Exceltra. Well, he already had an Exceltra. Then I'm going to throw another one down. And that one's going to disappear. So I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with that. And actually, I was looking on this wiki and I didn't see anything about that. But from what it looks like, I don't think you can. I'm going to look into that a little bit later, because it like really doesn't say anything like that. I'll go ahead and read the notes and hopefully we run into it. But to my understanding, you're never going to be able to throw like this one down, this one down, this one down, and the Force down. You can only throw 4 different types, right? So I can throw down one of these and then these 3 guys, or any combination of those, right? So let's go ahead and hop on to the notes. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a rocky day. I hope everyone's having a good day. Notes on Specters. These Specters do not teleport to the player and have limited AI capabilities. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's true, because my Rhino teleports to me everywhere, but that's neither here nor there. As such, they generally act like normal enemies, such as taking cover or other similar behaviors. If they detect enemies, they will take the initiative to engage them regardless of where the player is. I'm pretty sure you guys already saw that, so I'm just going to stay way over here, nowhere around the enemy. And if they, yeah, look, he started shooting at him. Look at that. Oh no, the homie getting jumped. Come on, y'all. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that point proven. So, due to the lack of armor or shields, the Red Veil's Charger Eximus Spectre typically does not survive very long after being summoned. Its energy leech ability also does nothing to allies or enemies, so that just makes it sound like a terrible Spectre. Specters of this type are most useful in game modes where the mission takes place in a fixed location, such as a defense or interception. Interceptions, I 100% use Specters. Not every time, but it is nice to use them. They kind of crowd control the area, as they can easily lag behind players and have difficulty navigating certain tile sets. This also is something to probably take note of. Where is that Force Spectre? There it goes. So with Clem, I think it's only Clem and the Force Specters, because the Bombard and this guy, oh, it does work on them. So you can hit hold position on him, hold position on him, hold position on him, hold position on Clem. You stay right there, right? And what's nice is you can kind of set up a formation. Now, this is what I do in the interception missions. I just kind of wanted to put that out there real quick. Let's say this is the interception node. What I'll usually do is I'll throw it smack dab in the middle, right? And then I'll hit hold position, and then I'll go to another node, right? And then I'm doing my thing, and then I'll take care of the third one. Well, the good news is I know that him over there, he's going to usually kind of hold that spot down, regardless if he has a Brahma or an Exceltra or whatever he's got. I don't know why I put a Brahma on him, but nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would recommend doing for that. Anyway, on to the next note. Shield Osprey Specters have behave differently than all other Specters. They may stay near the objective in a defense or decide to protect another Specter. They will never take the initiative to actually protect the player. Just keep that in mind. So I'm sure they're helpful, but they have their own mind. You know what I mean? The Roller Spectre is arguably the weakest of all the Spectre due to its relatively low health and slow attack speed, despite being able to steal health from enemies. Okay. Ancient Healer Specters have a short 15-meter aura that reduces damage by 90% for all friendly targets, such as other players, allied Specters, or defense objectives. When connected to said targets, the healer itself will gain a damage resistance boost as well. Damage done to you or linked allies will heal the Spectre as well as its own occasional healing pulses, which is probably why that thing just lives forever. Oddly enough, a Spectre's weapon can level up, shown in, it says, media below. It is unknown if it actually affects the weapon or the Spectre itself. I'm just going to take a guess and say that it does, unless it doesn't, but I'm going to guess and say it does. Upon successful defeat of a certain syndicate's death squadron or platoon, you may earn the blueprint to build that syndicate Spectre. Hence how I got the corrupted Lancer. Players are unable to choose to either make the Spectre stay in an area or to follow them around by pressing X. Oh, players are able, sorry. They are able, you're basically, exactly what I'm doing right here, you're able to do that. Doing this to a Shield Osprey Spectre will cause it to hold position and fire plasma repeater weapons at enemies. The Shield Osprey may also rarely fire its weapons when not told to wait, although this is rare. Okay. For clients, this is unreliable, and the Osprey may ignore the commands anyway and continue to fly into crowds of enemies. And okay, so probably just shouldn't get that one. Some Specters may rarely disarm enemies. I haven't seen this personally, but maybe. I'm assuming maybe like a Mesa or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure. Cephalon Suda's Shield Osprey Spectre is useful in hijack missions as they can instantly restore your shields. Its shields will not be affected, however. Specters will spawn at the current level of any. Specters will spawn at the current enemy level plus a few extra. For endless missions, this allows Specters to scale to enemy level. Placing one at the beginning of a mission will be lower than later on if spawned again. The Corrupted Lancer and Ancient Healer Specters become very powerful due to this, becoming massive bullet sponges, which I can actually agree with that.
Because this guy right here, I don't know if you noticed, but you see that little red aura around him and how it's not on the bombard. Now this little red aura, if you're familiar with Warframe, this means it's an Eximus, and Eximuses have properties that other enemies do not. Particularly this bullet sponginess that they're speaking about. So this guy actually is going to take way more hits than this guy, believe it or not. And an Ancient Healer with its 90% damage reduction and constantly getting healed, the more you get shot, is probably what's going to keep that alive as well. If the player kills a Spectre affected by radiation, they will receive affinity identical in the amount to an enemy unit of the same type. So if you kill your Spectre, level 3, right, you should get that. You basically should get that affinity. Long story short, at least that's what it sounds like. Specters spawn during nightmare alerts, and missions are immediately hostile to the player, indiscriminately attacking Tenno and enemies alike, and cannot be commanded to hold position or follow. These Specters are marked with a reddish distorted glow to indicate that they have turned against the player. I'm assuming it does not look like this. We can actually go into a nightmare mission to go ahead and take a gander at that, because that is the end of the notes. As far as bugs, I'll read these as the screen is loading. Telling a Spectre to hold position may cause the Spectre to act strangely, including freezing in an animation or tracking but not firing upon enemies. Telling them to follow you and re-hold position can fix this issue temporarily. The corrupted Bombard Specters spawns with a small shield count, which will recharge slowly as long as its drone is active. However, having this shield drained completely will prevent it from ever coming back until its drone is destroyed and respawned after a period of time. This has been a bug since the Spectre existed, and may be due to an issue where the heavy gunner cannot obtain shields, or it could just be a feature. We have no idea. Let's go ahead and jump into a nightmare mission and see what happens. And we're going to spawn, I'm going to attempt to spawn all 4 of them. Actually, let me get, I don't care. They shouldn't be able to kill me. So where is the nightmare mission? Earth, nightmare, what is this? Vampire mode, defense, sure. No, oh god, this is going to be a thing. Alright, well I'll just do it and then I'll leave. So, we're going to jump in, spawn some Specters, see what happens. Once again, I hope everybody's having a great day. I think the most that I've gotten out of this particular article is what's the difference between, you know, the Vapor Phase, Force, and Cosmic. One starts at enemy level, one's enemy +3, enemy +5, enemy +10. Literally no other difference. Okay, we're here, so I'm going to jump out here. They're probably going to be like, what in God's name is this guy doing? But that's fine. So Vapor Spectre, what do you do in a nightmare mission? You immediately start shooting me with Brahmas. Okay. That's what happens. What about Clem? Yep, Clem is shooting. So long story short, oh my god. So long story short, do not spawn your Specters in Nightmare Mission, because that happens. And that radiating glow, that's the glow that they were talking about, just in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, I hope this helps you guys kind of understand Specters a little bit more. Without further ado, this is CS from DWP, and I will holla at you guys in the next piece of content. I think I'll just do a little bit of defense before I take off. I should spawn a Spectre here just to mess with people. I'm gonna see if anybody notices.
You will be cleansed.
That is so mean. Toodaloo. Y'all take it easy. Peace.